The MAGA Supreme Court is now even further to the right of Donald Trump, who's very hard right himself. So this week, the Senate will step in to try and fix the chaos the MAGA court just unleashed. As soon as tomorrow, Democrats will seek passage of a federal ban on bump stocks.
That didn't take long, did it? Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below, and you like channel, like content, and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. Connecticut residents, plan on getting your Connecticut pistol permit. Time is running short. Please get your training and your paperwork done before July 1st. After that, the new training addendum is going to kick in. And there are some gray areas that are not being covered and some what appears to be shenanigans coming from the state. If you have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut for permits in the description box. Keep an eye on that, and let's talk about this. If you remember, I did a video on the Supreme Court reversing the Trump-era bump stock ban, which of course was invoked after the shooting in Las Vegas. Friday, the Supreme Court said, no, this is no good. This ban cannot stand. And Tuesday, today, the Senate is trying to push through a bump stock ban, which they are calling, and I will bring it up, they are calling this the Banning Unlawful Machine Gun Parts Act of 2023. That's their colorful little title for, once again, trying to subvert the Supreme Court. Now, of course, you heard all the rhetoric immediately after the Supreme Court passed this ruling.
Jim, it's great to see you. What's your reaction to this first?
Well, Jose, it's a horrible decision. It's nonsensical. It's sad that the Supreme Court would rule this way. A bump stock clearly turns a semi-automatic rifle into a submachine gun. And, it's akin to a boater hanging 4 tires off the side of his boat. And when the Coast Guard stops him saying, well, this is a car, so you have no authority over me. I mean, it's really a sad time for a court to make that kind of ruling.
And all of them are incorrect. The Supreme Court was not deciding whether or not this bump stock ban violated the Constitution. What they're actually arguing in the Cargill case, and what the whole premise behind the Cargill case was, the ATF is too broadly defining the 1934 machine gun ban and the definition of a machine gun, which they are. That is what the Supreme Court talked about. Now, Alito left an opening by stating that this bump stock was something that Congress would have banned and would have said, yes, this is a machine gun, when in reality it's not. And the biggest difference between using a bump stock and a machine gun, you don't have to support the machine gun in order to fire it. What am I saying? All you gotta do is pull the trigger. You don't have to shoulder it. You can just pull the trigger and hold it, and it will fire until it's empty. A bump stock requires an actual manipulation on the part of the shooter for it to function properly. Based on the definition of a machine gun by the ATF, it doesn't fit. That's the problem. That's what the Supreme Court decided upon, not the constitutionality of it. But of course, everybody jumped on board, the usual grifters, and even said some outrageous thing. I mean, Kathy Hochul actually said the Buffalo, if you remember the Buffalo, New York shooting, the Buffalo shooter used a bump stock. And every news outlet immediately jumped on it because they knew that if they didn't or tried to defend what she said, they'd be realized that they were being partisan. So they were quick to correct her and say, no. The Buffalo shooter did not use a bump stock. A bump stock has only ever been recorded used once, and that was Las Vegas. That's the only time that anyone on record where a person has been killed where the firearm had a bump stock attached to it. But I want to play for you a little bit of Schumer's remarks, because I not only so much his rhetoric about bump stocks, but listen to what he's saying about the court.
Now on bump stocks. Last Friday, Madam President, the MAGA Supreme Court struck once again, saying the federal government cannot prohibit the use of bump stocks, the accessory responsible for the deadliest shooting in American history. The AFT under the Trump administration, banned the use of these accessories shortly after the Las Vegas shooting. Yet on Friday, the MAGA court reached the incredible conclusion that weapons modified to act like machine guns, to fire bullets at almost the same rate as machine guns, and in which, in Judge Alito's own admission, do not show, quote, any material difference, unquote, with machine guns, are somehow not machine guns. Friday's ruling is yet another warning that this MAGA court is going off the deep end, aligning itself more and more with the most extreme elements of the hard right. They have struck down freedom of choice, environmental protections, affirmative action, fair redistricting, gun safety, and more. The MAGA Supreme Court is now even further to the right of Donald Trump, who's very hard right himself. So this week, the Senate will step in to try and fix the chaos the MAGA court just unleashed. And I urge my Republican colleagues not to block Senator Heinrich when he comes to the floor. He's the author of the bill banning bump stocks and leading the charge to get it passed quickly. Passing a bill banning bump stocks should be the work of 5 minutes. Most Americans support this step. Poll after poll show that a majority of people, including independents, support restrictions on AR-15 style rifles, which is what bump stocks are designed to emulate. I understand that the issue of gun safety provokes intense disagreement in Congress, but shouldn't we all agree that preventing another tragedy like Las Vegas is just plain common sense and a good thing? Banning bump stocks would go a long way to making it harder for murderers to carry out large shootings. So I hope our Republican colleagues join us.
You heard that and you saw that. Do you hear his language? MAGA Supreme Court. They're now the MAGA Supreme Court. They are more far extreme right than Donald Trump. You hear, I've been talked about this several times. This is another affront and another direct attack on the Supreme Court. Why? Because the Democrats want to undermine it, get rid of the conservative Supreme Court justice, and or stack the court with liberal progressive court justices so they can get the rulings that they want, because they are only upset because the rulings aren't in their favor. That's what this is about. But this bill has a twofold effect, and the Democrats are once again playing politics with it. They're going to bring this thing out because they know that Republicans have already come out and said, yeah, we're just going to kill this thing on arrival. But they're going to use it as a political tool, like anything else. Once the Republicans say, we're not voting for this thing, we are not putting this thing into play, we are not going to allow this, the Democrats are going to use it and say, the Republicans do not care about your life and safety because they allow machine guns on your streets. Watch. Anybody want to bet? Let's get some odd makers in here, because I guarantee you that's why they're playing this right now. They know this thing's not going to pass, but they're going to use it as a political sword against Republicans. Why? Because Joe Biden's poll numbers stink. It's not going to go anywhere. And they already know this, but they're going to do it as a political weapon. But you can call your people in the Senate. There's a phone number. I'll leave it in the description box. And Connecticut people, yeah, we already know. There's no point in reaching out to Tweedledee and Tweedledum, because we know what their position is. As a matter of fact, I think they're on board with co-sponsoring this thing. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.